Hey there, Aubrey. How's everything?
I'm great, Lindsay. How are you?
Good. I am ready to get into talking about restaurants. This is a good topic. I love it. Who
Yes, and
doesn't
such a
love
great
dining
connection
out?
topic. I know who doesn't love dining out and who doesn't love talking about food and dining out. It's such a great conversation topic.
Yeah. And so, on that note, Aubrey, what types of restaurants do you like? Where do you go when you like to eat
Ooh.
out?
My favorite is Indian food, and you just
Mm.
can't go wrong. Every restaurant I've ever been to, chicken makhni, aloo
Uh,
gobi are my favorites, and it's always delicious.
oh,
I'm never disappointed, and I can't cook it
yes.
myself. I have tried.
No,
It's
yeah. That,
never as
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So
That's
Mexican, I
the,
can make some Mexican at home. I
yeah.
can't really get in. Can you cook Indian food,
Oh,
Lindsay?
gosh. No.
No,
No
it's
way.
very difficult. And you have to
No,
buy
no,
the garam masala and the
no.
turmeric and all of the spices, and it's just
And it
never as
still
good.
wouldn't be as good.
It's
So
really
that's one
not.
that's totally worth either going out or doing takeout for, I think.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. What about you? What restaurants do you
Oh
like?
my gosh, a lot of stuff. So Mexican's big in Denver, I'll say that. I
Mm,
like Thai food. I like to go out for Thai food
me
sometimes.
too.
And also just sort of like new trendy restaurants. Denver's not a huge restaurant scene, I'll say that. We have some good ones, but
Mm,
they're a little less common than on the East Coast when I lived in New York and Boston.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we went to three restaurants on Valentine's Day because we didn't have a reservation. So we went to three it was like a wine bar that had apps, and we did like a drink and an app at three different
Fun.
places,
Yeah,
and they were
that's
all
fun.
quite a bit fancier than our usual
Yeah.
haunts. So it was
Okay.
kind of fun to go somewhere for just a drink and an app.
No, that's perfect. That's really fun. It's fun to make up your own little Valentine's Day dates.
Yeah,
We did.
like this
We
might
just
have to
went
be a
for ice cream.
tradition.
Yeah,
Oh,
we just went
oh,
for
that's
ice
fun
cream with our
too.
dog. We loved it. It was the
Love
best
that.
Valentine's Day.
Well, today
um,
we are or we're answering a listener's question about restaurants. So
yes.
if you like dining out, you are going to love this topic, and you should be ready to connect about this topic. I've never had a conversation about food and dining out where I was bored. Like, it's a
No.
fun connection topic.
Nope. Because people are always looking for new restaurant recommendations.
That too.
You
Yeah.
can learn a lot about someone based on where they went, where they suggest you go, about like how fancy they are, how much they value food. There's a lot here. So, Aubrey, would you read our listener question to get us started?
Absolutely. This is from Mauro. Shout out to Mauro. He has sent us some amazing questions. He
Yes.
said, "Great episode 1522. I learned pull its weight. And I have a question for
Hmm.
you. I was watching an American culinary reality show. There were assignments on casual dining and fine dining. Could you talk a little bit about this? Is it a matter of price, ingredients, etiquette?" Mauro, such a good question.
Yeah, great question. Oh my gosh. Yeah. What is the difference, right? Fine dining and casual dining. We love the question because, again, dining out is a huge connection moment with the person you're out with, or also whoever you're talking about. Maybe you went out over the weekend, like you're talking about your
Hmm.
Valentine's date. Right now, we're talking about that. It's a connection moment. Okay.
Yes. And this is interesting too, because if you're going out, if you're meeting someone, you kind of need to know if it's a fine dining establishment or casual dining, because that will determine what you wear, how
Yes.
much you're planning to spend, right? There is a
Mhm.
lot that's different between these two experiences.
Yeah, you don't want to show up in jeans when you go to the fanciest restaurant in your entire city and everyone's in dresses and suits. Oh my gosh.
Exactly. You would feel a little underdressed, definitely.
Yeah. Guys, if you love our style, it's connection, not perfection, is what we do here on All Ears English, then go ahead and hit the follow button so that you don't miss a single episode of our show. We publish 5 days a week over here. If you prefer to watch us on video, you can do that too over on YouTube. Just type in All Ears English Podcast, hit subscribe. All right.
Yes, exactly. All right, let's dive into this. We're going to talk about casual dining first.
Mhm.
So, this is more relaxed. It has an informal atmosphere,
Yeah.
a casual dress code, right? You can definitely wear jeans and a t shirt to
Yeah.
anywhere that is considered casual dining.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say this is probably my preference, because you could still get really good food when you dine out casually, right? It's not like
Absolutely. And you're
fine
more
dining has a
comfortable.
corner on the market for good food, right? And usually they give you
Exactly.
more food in casual dining.
Right?
um,
It's so true. And this is faster service, but it's not
mhm,
considered fast food. That is
right.
different, right? Fast food usually has a drive through, like
Yes.
McDonald's, Burger King, that's fast
Right.
food. Casual
Right.
dining is more, we'll often say fast casual. And that's usually where you go up to the register,
Yes.
order your food, and then you go sit down. Maybe they'll bring it to you or call your number. But it
Yep.
is quicker than fine dining for sure, but a step up from fast food.
So does fast casual belong in the casual dining category, Aubrey, would you say?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of like Chipotle as a good example,
Chipotle.
or, there are these restaurants where I wouldn't call it fast food. Like they make it pretty quick, but it's casual because you're still going to sit and eat with your party.
Right.
There's no
Right.
drive-through. It's a
Right.
little different.
Right.
It's a little more
Right.
upscale than fast food.
Fast casual, a little bit better. There's Kava, the brand Kava is big in Denver, or there's Sweet Greens, where you usually go through the
Yes.
line, you say what you want, like Chipotle, but then you could take it out, but it's not like, I think the key is there's no drive-through. That might be it.
Yeah, maybe, right? If it's fast food, there's a drive-through. Everything else is casual dining. And sometimes we'll call it fast
for
casual
sure.
if it's even a little more informal or quick serve, but we still wouldn't call it fast food.
And I think the other kinds of places that would fall under casual dining, brew pubs. We love to go to brew pubs where it's actually like the emphasis is on the beer. So you go and you can eat at the bar, or you can eat at a table. There's families, but there's tons of good craft beer options. Like they take their beer seriously. I love that.
Or sports bars, which will always have
Yep.
big TVs playing whatever game is on, right?
Usually the beer's
a lot
not
of
as good
those.
there.
Exactly. A sports bar is it's not craft brews.
No. So there are a lot of types of restaurants that do fall into casual dining, but I think the key is maybe are you going to worry about what you're wearing or not? Maybe that's one of the key differences, right?
That's really interesting, but it's still usually quite affordable, simple food. It can be really healthy, right? Fast food, there are now some drive-through salad places that are more healthy, but traditionally fast food has always been collocated with like unhealthy food, right? Whereas casual dining can be healthy options.
Sure, for sure. So let's contrast that now with fine dining. So what is fine dining?
Yeah, this is much more elevated, as we say. It's a more formal atmosphere. Fancier dress code is expected. Like you said, Lindsay, if you wear jeans to a fine dining, you'll probably be the only one in jeans. Like we dress up to go to these places.
Yep. Usually it's a bit slower, but the service will be more attentive, right? Maybe there's just more, I don't know, more attention paid to you. The waiter or waitress might just pay more attention. I don't know how to.
Yeah,
how to say
I think
that
a good
any other
example of this is at a fine dining establishment. I often will ask for a tasting of wines. I'll ask for a taste of a few different wines, and they'll bring, the wine glass with just a small taste. You could never do that at a casual dining, or at least I would never. At a sports bar, I wouldn't ask to taste a couple of their beers or wines. It's just a very different vibe, right? It's fancier, it's elevated. You are paying more. Maybe that's why I don't feel guilty asking for tastings, right?
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never asked for a tasting of wine. That's interesting. I mean, usually when I order a bottle of wine at a fine dining place, they'll pour it into whoever they decide
they'll let you taste it first.
Tasting it, right? But you're talking about, can I have a few different, like as if you're at like a wine tasting, can I have a few different options?
Yeah. So we did this on Valentine's Day. There were 3 Cabernet Sauvignon options on the menu at this place called Black Sheep that was pricier. And I usually will like wine, but I haven't been drinking wine that long, so I don't know for sure, and I hadn't tried any of them. So I'll just say, can I taste your 3 Cabernet Sauvignon? And they just bring each in a little glass, a little tasting, and they tell you the name of it. You taste it, you try all 3, and then you tell them which one you would want to order.
Got it.
And I love it because then I know I'm getting a glass of wine that I'm going to enjoy, because I might order a glass of wine and not like it.
Yeah, I wonder if you'd be able to do that at a table, because I know when because at the bar it's easier because they're not selling you a bottle of wine, right, to open for you.
Right. No, it's just a glass. And this is at a table. They would bring the 3 to the table, right? So, but I wouldn't do that at a brew pub or a sports bar because you're not paying as much, and so it doesn't feel like I don't feel like I have the right to ask for that kind of service.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that make it distinct fine dining. The food is usually better quality. We hope, at least.
It usually is a prettier presentation, right? More work going into the presentation. Often smaller portions, actually, like you mentioned.
Also, the menu is usually much more ornate. Some kind of special wordsmithing is done around. Often there's like a farm to table vibe going on, describing each ingredient, and more in-depth description of where each ingredient came from is usually what you see at fine dining, right?
Yeah, everything's classed up a little bit. The menu, there usually are less options at a fine dining restaurant, whereas at Cheesecake Factory or somewhere, these places will have like thousands of options. Or a diner, it's like pages and pages of menu.
Yeah, a diner is definitely not fine dining.
No, but that's a good example too of casual dining, right? Any diner
that's a good example.
Casual dining.
Any diner, any kind of cafe. Most cafes are usually casual
or a
dining.
Coffee shop, all of that.
Coffee
you can
shops,
wear jeans. It's casual.
Yep. And of course, the inevitable higher prices is usually what you'll find at fine dining, right?
Hey, quick question. Do you want to feel more confident when you speak English? If so, we made a free guide for you. It'll help you avoid those common mistakes and start speaking more naturally in real conversations. Go grab it in the description below. And if this is helpful for you, make sure that you like and subscribe. We're here 5 times a week to help you connect in English.
All right, so then we've already probably mentioned a couple words, but we want to give our listeners a whole bunch of vocabulary words that might clue them in to whether something is fine dining or casual dining. So, Aubrey, casual dining, what could we hear? What words might
so
we
this
hear?
is interesting. At least in the States, we would now refer to them as servers. Anyone who is bringing food to your table. We used to call them waiters, waitresses, but that's really gone away, and we mostly just say servers now.
Yeah, I guess I have to break that habit because I still say waiter and waitress.
It's interesting how it really calls like the 50s diner now. We say waiter, waitress, but I'm not sure exactly why, but server has just sort of replaced that.
Yeah, when you walk in, certainly, you have a host sometimes. Even with a casual dining space, you have a host and they will use the word server. But I think for me, like in my social circle or just people, I think still use waiter, waitress just when they're referring.
I wonder if a lot of it is because it's removing gender. Like where you have to say waiter, waitress, you have to know their gender, whereas server, they're all just a server and you don't have to know gender. You might accidentally mess up the gender if you're using waiter, waitress. So maybe it's that. Maybe that's why.
It could be that. And some other words that you might hear that would signal, okay, we're talking about casual dining. I can wear jeans, laid back, no frills, family friendly. Self-service is interesting when you have a buffet and you're going to go up, right? Grab food, come back to the table. What else, Aubrey?
Or as we said, a diner, buffet, you mentioned. Family style. We often will order family style, especially at an Asian restaurant where you're ordering several things from the menu and then everyone's sharing. You're sort of taking a little bit of each entree. So family style, regardless of often Italian places, people will do this too. Just order several items and share.
Yeah, I mean, in Japan, this is all we did. We went to the izakaya, which is kind of like a bar restaurant with coworkers or friends. It was just, people would just order a bunch of plates for the table and everyone would share. There was no, this is my plate.
I love that.
American concept.
I want to try everything.
Plate. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm
you also
sharer.
eat less, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, right? Taste everything and you don't feel like you have to finish your entree.
Yeah. And then fine dining, you might hear the word table service, meaning what, Aubrey?
Yeah. So that's a server is taking care of your table, bringing you, everything that you would need. Upscale is an adjective we use to describe these fancier restaurants. We'll say it's upscale or elegant, we mentioned. Another interesting, this is a French word we use, prefix, which means a fixed price for a specific menu. You'll be told, the appetizer, entree, dessert, maybe drinks. It's all a set menu that the chef has prepared for sort of a special occasion usually.
Yeah. I mean, even when we were in Italy, this was a thing at many of the restaurants on New Year's Eve. So it's usually certain nights, like maybe Valentine's is one of them for many restaurants, New Year's Eve, maybe Christmas Eve.
Restaurant Week here does that, where it's like a special event and they have a prefix menu. You're paying a set price for a fixed menu.
Or tasting menu, What is a tasting menu? What is that?
Yeah. So this at very fancy establishments, you'll have it's tapas really, right? Where there's small plates that you're just getting a little bit of it to try and taste everything. So similar to like tapas in Spain, a lot of places will have a tasting menu and you're ordering small plates just to be able to taste a lot of things on the menu. And then you could order more of it if you choose.
Nice. I like that. And then locally sourced, this is what we were talking about earlier. Often at a fine dining establishment, they might really go into where each ingredient came from in that meal, right? On the
Right?
menu.
Farm to table, or this is
Yeah.
all local, and it might
Or
be
the
about the
state,
drinks
the
or the
county.
food.
Yeah, the farm, the name of the farm it came from. Gourmet is another word. I think a lot of our listeners know that. I think that's a French word, right?
Yes, exactly.
Probably.
And just meaning, elevated food.
Yeah.
And then a wine pairing or a sommelier is like a wine expert who may be able to recommend specific wines, specific drinks for food, for certain dishes at the restaurant. And then you could do a wine pairing. That's the kind of thing that just does not exist at a casual restaurant.
Right, for sure. And then these are conversation starters, right? This is connections, where connection starts. So when it comes to choosing a restaurant, how do we start the conversation, Aubrey? What could we say?
Yeah. So I might ask you, what kinds of restaurants do you like?
I like fancy places, especially for special occasions. It's fun to get all dolled up and treat yourself to a nice experience. That's a bonus, all dolled up.
Yeah, it just means to get dressed a little fancier than you normally would. You get all dolled up. For me, that's just makeup and a dress. I'm all dolled up.
Yeah, nice. Or are you more into casual places or fine dining?
And I might say, I prefer casual. It's no frills and there's no need to dress up. It feels more natural.
Some great vocabulary coming out of today. No frills, really good one. No
Yes,
hassle,
right.
no fuss, right? No stress.
Exactly. And that's true. I'm like you most of the time. That's my preference. I want to be comfortable. I want to know I'm enjoying the food. And I want it to be very special occasion to go somewhere that's fine dining.
Right. I couldn't handle every weekend going to a fine dining restaurant. That would be too much. No, thank
My
you.
budget couldn't handle it either because they're pricey.
No way. All right, let's get into a role play. So, Aubrey, here we are deciding on a restaurant for dinner. Okay.
All right, I'll start us out.
Okay.
Hey, where do you want to go for dinner tonight?
Should we try that new restaurant downtown?
It depends. Is it casual or more fine dining?
Definitely fine dining. It's super elegant. Tasting menu, wine pairings, the whole thing.
I don't know if I'm in the mood to dress up. Is it okay if we go somewhere casual? I was hoping for something more laid back and budget friendly.
Of course. We can save the fancier restaurant for a special occasion. Yes.
Nice. Yes. This would be me. Every now and then, if one of you kind of feels like dressing up and the other just isn't, like, well, let's not tonight.
Especially if you're going out on a Friday night. I find Fridays really hard to rally and to like get dressed up. I just want to be
I'm
really
tired.
casual
It's
on
been
Friday
a long
nights.
week.
Yes. Maybe Saturdays are a better chance, or Sundays, but not Fridays.
Yeah. Well, let's go through this role play. This is a fun conversation. Like, even if it's you and a friend deciding where to go for dinner, all of this vocabulary could come up, right? I said, is it casual or more fine dining? And it's smart to ask, right? You do need to know what to wear, how much time to plan on, how much to spend. So rather than just showing up, you do need to know if it's casual or fine dining.
Yes, please definitely ask those questions.
Yeah.
And I said it's definitely fine dining. It's super elegant, tasting menu, wine pairings, the whole thing.
Nice. Very fancy. And then I said, I just want to go somewhere casual. I was hoping for laid back and budget friendly. And that just means affordable, right? Casual dining places are always going to be more budget friendly.
Yeah, and just a bonus here to highlight, Aubrey, this could be another great episode for All Ears English. You said, I don't know that I'm in the mood to dress up, but you actually changed it to another option, right? I don't know if I'm in the mood to dress up. So both are correct, but maybe the vibe is slightly different, or these are options for our listeners. So what do you think about
sort of like
another
someone's
episode?
own personal choice? If one feels maybe a little more formal or not, that would be a great episode. Be sure to hit follow, guys. We'll do a follow-up about that.
Yeah, guys, go to 2558 now to keep listening. Let's Talk Cars Part 3, Essential Car Vocabulary. All right, this is another deep dive on a popular connection topic. Cars, food, lifestyle, travel. We can go so deep into these and really learn about people. right? And connect.
Yes, and they make for the most fun conversation. So
They
with
really
that
do.
series about cars, today's episode, a lot of what we talk about here on All Ears English is going to prepare you for these very fun conversations, these fun ways to connect in English.
Yeah, so the goal should be to deepen our vocabulary for these common cultural connection topics, right? So this is what we've done today. And Aubrey, I'll see you back here on the show very soon. You have a good day.
You too. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.